This pool is a water reservoir from the times of Jesus, and not just any other reservoir, but the place that sets the scene to one of the most known miracles Jesus performed here in Jerusalem, the healing of the crippled man. My name is Itay, I am a tour guide here in Israel, and today I want to take you to one of the most fascinating places in the Old City, the Pools of Bethesda and the Crusader Church of St. Anne. Here we will see the remains of the massive water reservoirs from the Second Temple period. We will recall the miracle of healing that Jesus performed here, and we will step into one of the very few Crusader churches that survived anywhere in the Holy Land. We are standing near the northeast corner of the old city of Jerusalem, just inside the Lion's Gate. 2000 years ago, during the time of the Temple, this was just outside the northeast wall of the city and a short walk from the Temple Mount. This location is important because at the time of the great pilgrim feasts, Passover, Pesach, Pentecost or Shavuot in Hebrew, and Tabernacles or Sukkot as we call it here, during those three pilgrimages, Jerusalem was filled with hundreds of thousands of visitors. Pilgrims needed food, lodging, ritual baths, and most of all, water, and a lot of it. The temple itself required enormous amounts of water for the priests, for ritual washing, and for the sacrifices. And the people of Jerusalem, together with the flood of pilgrims that came, needed a lot of water, cisterns, aqueducts, reservoirs for the daily uses that they needed. To feed so many people needed a lot of water. Together with it, mikvehs, purifying ritual baths that people needed to take before going up to the Temple Mount required a lot of water as well. Where did the water come from? Here, around the old city of Jerusalem, there were only two springs, Shiloach, which is the larger and most important one, and the much smaller En Rogel. When the city started to expand, a water system was built by the Hashmoneans to bring water from the area of Bethlehem, and then another one was built by the Roman. The length of the longest system was about 13 miles long, a very impressive construction project at the time. And still, this wasn't enough, and large pools were excavated in low places around the city to catch and store rainwater. Pools such as Mamile Pool and the Pools of Bethesda. The name Bethesda in Hebrew or Aramaic means the house of mercy or house of grace. What we see here are two massive reservoirs. The southern pool was first dug in the 8th century BC, already in the time of the first temple. Later, in the Hashmonean period, another pool was added to the north, and the two were separated by a dam running east to west. Each pool was about 50 feet wide and over 300 feet long. Together, they could store about 12 million gallons of water, about 40,000 cubic meters. Archaeologists have uncovered staircases leading down into the pools, which allowed people to descend to draw water or perhaps even immerse, cleaning themselves after a long journey to Jerusalem. By the 1st century, these pools served as one of the main water supplies for the temple and the city. So now that we understand the importance of this pool, let's try to imagine how it was like to visit this place during the time of the pilgrimage. Thousands of people coming in and out to get water, maybe to wash themselves after a long journey to Jerusalem, and around them, laying on the ground, ill and crippled people waiting for a miracle. There was a tradition here that every once in a while an angel touches the water surface, sending ripples. It was believed that the first one to enter the water afterwards would be healed. And this is what the Gospel tells us about what happened when Jesus comes here. In John 5 it says, "Now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie, the blind, the lame, the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, 'Do you want to get well?' 'Sir,' the invalid replied, 'I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I am trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me.' Then Jesus said to him, 'Get up, pick up your mat and walk.' At once the man was cured, he picked up his mat and walked." And this is how nearly 40 years of this person waiting for a miracle came to an end. This miracle at Bethesda is one of several that Jesus performed here in Jerusalem. At the Pool of Siloam, he healed the man born blind. In Bethany, just out the city, he raised Lazarus from the dead. In the temple courts, he healed the lame and the blind who came to him. So what do we see in this site today? We see the outlines of the twin pools, north and south, with their dividing wall. We see the remains of the colonnades, covered walkways that once gave shade to those waiting by the pool. Over the centuries, churches were built and added on top of the pools, commemorating the miracle. In the Byzantine era, a basilica was built on top of the pool and stood here, but then it was destroyed in the Persian invasion of 614, and later a Crusader chapel was added as well. Next to the pools stands one of the most beautiful and best preserved Crusader churches in the Holy Land, the Church of St. Anne or Santa Anna. It was built around 1130 by the Crusaders, and the church was called St. Anne because, according to tradition, this was the site of the house of Joachim and Anne, Mary's parents, and there is a mosaic dedicated to her birth in the grotto. When Saladin conquered Jerusalem at 1187, the church was not destroyed. Instead, it was converted into a madraseh, an Islamic school, and that is the reason that it survived almost intact. Other than this church, there are only two more Crusader churches that survived anywhere in the Holy Land. In the 19th century, it was given by the Ottomans to France, and it is still under French Catholic custody today. That is a reason also that when Macron, the French president, came to visit the church a few years ago, he was upset that Israeli police is getting inside the church with him because, in his view, it is a French territory where Israeli policemen shouldn't enter. A little bit of a French drama. The church is also famous for its beautiful echo, and pilgrims love to sing inside of it and enjoy the beautiful sounds. Thank you for joining me here at the Pools of Bethesda and the Church of Santa Anna. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video.